teaching in a brick and mortar classroom at the time, and I got a phone call during my prep period, and he was like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. He was like, I couldn't leave him there. I couldn't do it.
It was very sad.
You know what? He's still not been fixed to this day, and he acts like it too. So
yeah. Yeah, she was shaking, and it was really, really bad. I felt horrible, but she's okay. I mean, she's just chilling in her cone. So.
She'll be better off because of it. Just let me tell you, from one dog owner to another, it has to be worth it. Oh, we got some siblings. Not even worried about it, so don't stress about it, whoever's mic it was. I'm just glad somebody else's house sounds like that, and it's not just mine.
Right.
Awesome. Well, we're going to push into another area of the cell today. And Gracie's here, and Katie's here, and they want to read our goals for the day. So I might have Gracie read one, Katie read one. Actually, let's have Gracie read. Oh, we got more volunteers. I love it. Mrs. Schaefer, yesterday, I swear we had like 12 people read. It was so fun.
Oh, that's great. I love to see the volunteers. Woo-hoo.
I know. I was so pumped. We had just all kinds of people working in here.
Good.
So Gracie, Katie, and then Lizzie, and we'll get you, Macy, on one of the next slides, I promise. Awesome.
Proteins and carbohydrates within the cell membrane. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. And then Katie.
How would you explain the phrase, a cell is... I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, it's a tricky word. Ready? Semi-permeable.
Semi-permeable.
Yes, there you go. And next up is Lizzie.
Is my mic working?
I can hear you.
Okay. The cell membrane is a fluid structure. What does this mean, and how can this information help us understand cell health?
Awesome. So we're going to go back to that semi-permeable membrane that we talked about a little bit last unit when we talked about lipids or fats. Who remembers the really cool characteristic that those lipids and fats had? In fact, let's go to a whiteboard and doodle for a minute. Go ahead and write on here some things about lipids that are particularly important to the cell membrane. I know you know. Yes. Hydrophobic. Somebody slice and dice this word for me. Tell me what it means. And that's not the only thing, so keep them coming. Yep, that's where we cut it. And what does hydro mean, and what does phobic mean? It's coming. Yep, hydro equals water. Phobic is fear, right? Perfect. So we know, who knows what it looks like? Can somebody draw that picture that we drew? They're afraid of water, right? And they are awesome, and that's important in the cell membrane. They, just like we talked about putting oil all over our hands and just sticking it underwater, it doesn't just rinse off, right? If I smashed up a banana in my hand, that's so gross. I don't know why I thought of that. But if I smashed up a banana in my hand and I took it to the sink, I could put it under the water and the water would run it right off, right? My hand might still smell like banana afterwards. But if I did the same thing with oil and just stuck it under the water, it wouldn't do that, right? because of its hydrophobic nature. What do we say these guys look like? Or anybody remember? I know you do. Who remembers what they look like? Yes! See, I knew you knew. A jellyfish. Remember they had the like head? Yep, and then the little chains that almost look like tentacles. Somebody's drawing it. Good. Got a couple illustrations. I love it. Yes, these are both perfect. All right, this is what our lipids look like. Our lipids or fats, these little hydrophobic molecules, are they living or non-living? Anybody? Are lipids, fats, living things or non-living? Think about it. So these are made out of what? Remember we talked about they're made out of elements. And they're made out of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. That's what our fats are made out of. Those atoms, are they living or non-living? Good. Everybody type non-living. All right, molecules are non-living. So our cells need these hydrophobic molecules as a component to themselves. All right? Good. Just like I don't know. That's not a good analogy. I don't have a good analogy. I was going to try to come up with one and it was weird and we're not going there. So, but this is a good review. Fats, lipids are important. They're non-living components that our living cells have to have. They're hydrophobic or they resist water because of their structure. Structure equals what? What? The structure of living and non-living things, yep, are important because they tell us a lot about their function, right? We talked about a shovel that has a point, and that shovel has a point because it's important for digging deep down inside. We talked about alligator teeth being pointy because they're carnivorous creatures and they bite into other living things, right? Good. Oh, we got the cats going. We've got the other mittens. Awesome. So that is a good place to start as we go back into looking at cell membranes. The cell membrane itself is a component of a living thing. So let's take a peek at it. All right. Macy, will you read about the structure, what the structure of a cell membrane is?
The membrane is selectively semi-permeable, wants to regulate homeostasis. Think of it as a gatekeeper or security guard. It controls what comes in and out of the cell.
Perfect. I like to think about castles when I think about cells and their cell membranes. What was around castles, like ancient castles? What was around the outside of a castle? Ooh, sometimes drawbridge, wall, right? Moats, gates. Perfect. So I like to think about this giant castle with a gate around it, and maybe there's a moat around it as well. And then the gate lowers and opens. And what was that wall and gate around the castle for? Why? Like, why did they have it? Just because it was aesthetically beautiful? Why did they do it? You had to keep people out, right? Because it was a big premise, and they might have guards or whatever else, but because of how big the castle was, and because of the importance or the value of the people inside, they built that wall around it to keep it safe. Do you think they just let anyone into the castle? Let's talk about maybe the castle in London, England. Can anyone just walk in there and be like, I'm here to see the queen? No, right? I assume that only that people only have to have appointments to come in and out, right? That they're not just walking in and out of the palace gates when they want to. It's the same way with ourselves, believe it or not. But we're going to take what we know, like the gate around a castle, and we're going to put that around the cell. Okay? This is going to help us. That's exactly what this cell membrane is. And around the cell, because our cells need stuff. All right? Think about the entrances to your house. How can you get in and out of the place that you live? Doors. Katie, you said doors plural. Why doors plural? Yeah, okay. So you have multiple doors. Yes, and I'm going to show some of those pictures too. Okay? So some homes have multiple doors. So I'm looking around my house and deciding if it's dirty enough or if I'm embarrassed to show you. All right, so we'll go on a tour of my house. With the lighting, I may disappear or not disappear. All right, can we see, whoa, my front door? Do we see the front door? There's my front door. All right, that is one entrance point of our house. If we come back around this way, we're going to go through the kitchen. You can look, and there is another door, another set of doors, right? That takes us out the back doors. All right, now this is, I don't know how I feel about this because this is really embarrassing because I've got laundry piled up back here. All right, but if you come out this way, dun, 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 dun. Oh, look, it's another door. Right? That door leads to my garage. So I have multiple doors in the place I live, and most of us have probably a door or two that we use in our houses or our places of living to get in and out. There's my head again. All right, and so that just like we all have multiple doors, thank you. There are also multiple doors on our cell, right? Why? Because there's different ways to go. I want to get in and out. I go out my front door to get my mail, right? I go out my front door to check for my Amazon packages. I go out my front door to open it up for visitors. I go out the back door because that's where my kids play. I go through the garage if I want to get something out of the garage fridge. If I want to get my car, right? I use different entry points for different things, for different purposes. Does that make sense? And our cells are just the same way. They have doors, they have walls of protection and entry points within that wall to allow things in and out for different purposes. All right? So let's keep moving and take a peek at what that kind of looks like. Look, guys, there's a jellyfish that you guys made. Right? So because these are actually what we talked about their hydrophobic nature, they also are hydrophilic on one end, okay? Hydrophilic means the opposite of hydrophobic. Phobic is you dislike water. This top head actually doesn't mind it. Okay? So what we do is this keeps everything out and this allows things in. All right, this is what we call the lipid bilayer. See how there's 2 layers of lipids that are kind of put together. Kind of like a s'more. A s'more without the filling. We've just got the 2 graham crackers. Right? And that's to ensure that there's a dual layer of protection and that no fluids get in between that, right? Because of that hydrophobic zone, it repels everything. So things are either out or things are in. Does that make sense? Things are either out or things are in. There's water outside of the cell. There's water inside the cell, but there ain't nothing getting in between this protective layer of the plasma membrane. All right, the only way that things can get through that is through like a doorway or a channel. And we talked about proteins in our last unit too, and this is where we see those come into play. All right. Everybody use your pointers. Point at these little brown, they kind of look like pimples in the cell membrane. See those? All right, they are technically like channels, but they function as doors. All right, these are all doors in the plasma membrane. See how they start at the top and they go all the way through. It's a place that things are allowed to go in and out. I kind of think it would be fun if like we pictured them like little water slides. Right? Anybody like a water slide? I like a good water slide. Awesome. So this is our phosphobilayer. These protein channels are just plugged throughout it to allow other things to move in and to move out. Macy, do you want to read about what the fluid mosaic model is?
One side is hydrophilic, water-loving, and one side is hydrophobic, water-fearing.
Perfect. Sully, you want to read about the protein channels and this fluid mosaic model?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Fluid mosaic model describes the cell membrane as several types of molecules consistently moving.
Good. So what this just basically means is that things are constantly moving in and out of the cell at all times. Yes. Tell them great job. Everyone that's participating. I told you how much it means to me that you guys are active in chat and participating. All right. The things are constantly moving in and out as we need them. All right. So this is a kind of a constant access point of the cell. Now let me pull this up. I want to go and to try something new today. Let's get this link. We're not going to do all of this today, but I would like to. We are going to go to Nearpod. And look at this. So everybody use this link right here. To go into it, do you need the code? Does anyone need the code, or does that take you right in? So click on this link on the screen or in the chat.
It should take you right in and just ask for the name. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but
that's perfect. No, thank you. Please do. So let's go into that. And I think I'm going to share my screen. So let's, if you don't mind watching chat, because it makes it disappear when, Ms. Schaefer, when I
I got
screen
it.
share. I all of a sudden lose it. It makes me feel alone. Can everybody see that? And pop on in. I want you to pop in because you get to participate in this. Let's go into not the lesson objectives. Let's go ahead and do this first quiz. What is a membrane? Is it the center of the cell or a barrier? Go ahead and answer that for me. Go ahead and answer that to me, and let's move on. I like some of these diagrams. So let's take a peek at this. In this, you see these green strings are representing molecules, okay? You can tell that this is the bilayer. How do you know this blue thing is the bilayer? Anyone want to pop on mic? Because I can't see your chat. Anyone want to pop on mic and tell us how we know this blue part is the bilayer? Anyone?
Because there's a lot and it forms a wall. You can see the wiggles of the lipids.
Good. You can see the little lipid tails, right? The phobic ends of the lipids here. You can see them smashed together, making our s'more sandwich minus the s'more. And you can see this protein channel right here. All right. Everybody see how these molecules are going in and out at different access points of the cell. So the question it's asking here is, can anything and everything move in and out of a cell? Can anything and everything move in and out of the cell? And the answer is no. All right, when we do semi-permeable, where would we chop up that word? We're going to pop on mics maybe? Where would we dissect the word semi-permeable?
I would say it's semi.
Good. What does semi mean, or semi? Like if you had to describe, break that apart and define it. Somewhat, all right? Like semi means somewhat, right? It's not letting everything in. It's not completely permeable, right? Permeable means to come in. It doesn't just say that it's a permeable plasma membrane. It's a semi-permeable plasma membrane. And that tells us that just like the castle, and just like our places of residence, right? Do you let everybody in? Do you let everybody into your house? When Chris is gone at work and I hear a knock at the door, I look out the window or check my Ring doorbell to see who's at my door. Because I don't open my door to everybody when he's gone, right? If I don't know who they are, I typically don't open the door. And it's the same way for ourselves. If they don't recognize it as a molecule that their cell needs or uses, they're like, nope, you look weird, go away. Right? And that's how actually our body is created to fight bacterial infections. Has anyone ever gotten a vaccine of any kind? Thomas Schaefer, because I can't see you. But
Yep, we've got a lot of yeses.
yes. I feel so alone in here.
You're good.
Yeah, we get those vaccines because then it makes our bodies recognize what they are. Like there's a chicken pox vaccine. I didn't get the chicken pox vaccine when I was young because it didn't exist. And so I actually got chicken pox, and they look like red hives or itchy mosquito bites all over your whole body. It's crazy. But once I got them, guess what? Our cells start identifying those things, and they say, I know what you are. You can't come in, right? You can't come in and infect me. So just like we kind of have boundaries and recognize things that are good or sketchy or bad, our cells actually kind of have that recognition as well. And that's why we take some vaccines. I don't want to get into a vaccine battle because I think there are good things and bad things about different ones and all of the things in general. But it's an immunity. We get immunity from vaccines, or we get immunity from getting viral infections. Our bodies start recognizing them, our cells start recognizing them, and it helps us make ourselves make safe decisions. All right. So the plasma membrane contains molecules other than phospholipids. All right. We talked about other than those lipids, we have proteins in there. And those proteins are important for letting things in and out, right? Those are our doors, those are our windows to our cell. So, what is the role of the lipid cholesterol in the plasma membrane? Let's skip that. We didn't go over specific cholesterol. I don't want to do that. All right, let's look at this. This is another example of what those proteins look like in the cell membrane. All right, somebody tell me about like which one of these looks interesting to them. What do we know? Like, look at them all. All these blue things are proteins. What do you notice about them? Type them in chat or say them out loud in your microphone so I'm not alone in here.
Darian said one is stringy. Gracie said they seem to act as a barrier.
Yes. They're barriers.
Different shapes.
This is perfect. And
I
what
saw
do we know?
one.
Yeah.
I saw one didn't make it through all the way, whatever that one is.
Yeah, you're right. I love that you guys are recognizing the different shapes. What does shape tell us in science?
Vaccines will literally kill you.
Yeah. What does the shape of something though tell us? Shape
Draven says function.
Yes. Shape equals function. So we know that by looking at this diagram that the different shapes of these channels probably tell us about what kind of things that they receive. Does that make sense? I went into a UPS store the other day, and now they have like several different desks. All right. They have like the desk like with the envelopes and the boxes, and then they had these like self-scanned areas that were specifically for people like me with Amazon return packages. Right? Like it was like they're all the Amazon things, and it's not the big boxes and stuff for like shipping and packaging and mailing and all of that where you buy stamps. And I think this is a good example of that. In the membrane, there are different proteins that look different because they receive different types of things for the cell. And there are actually different ways in which they do that. All right. I want to get to that. Let's move past some of this because this is long, but I really liked the pictures in this. There's our fluid mosaic model. All right. Would someone like to read this? Let's read this first.
I will.
All right, go for it.
The plasma membrane may have
Extensions.
Yeah, sensations, such as whip like flagella.
Yep.
Our brush like cilia in single-celled organisms like those shown in the figure below. The membrane extensions may help the organism move in the multicellular organisms that extensions have other functions. For example, the cilia on human lungs Cells weep foraging particles and mucus toward the mouth and nose.
Awesome. Thank you so much for reading. That's awesome. So we actually saw longer extensions on there and we said structure equals function, and you're right. All right, because those longer extensions of the plasma membrane are important for receiving things, or they're actually, what does it say they're important for? Not just for receiving things, but for what? Starts with an M. Movement. Movement. The plasma membrane can also be used for single cells to move, or they talked about in human lungs. Our lungs constantly have this thing called cilia, and they're little like fingers on the edge of our plasma membrane, and they move. They do a sweeping like motion to protect, to keep foreign particles away. How cool is that? I don't know. I think it is pretty cool. So you may use this link to go further explore the plasma membrane. It has lots of good things. It goes even more in depth than we're going to go today. But I just thought some of those things and those diagrams were super great. And I wanted to share them with you and go through them. And like I said, this is also something that you guys can take outside of class, right? To further process what the cell membrane looks like. I would like to introduce to you our next project. So we're going to spend the next couple minutes talking about one of our only projects in biology this entire year. Okay? Do any of you have playlists, music playlists? Yes. Like, does anyone here like music? Give me an emoji. Even if you don't like singing, right? Like, who doesn't like listening to music? All right. Some of us are like, meh, but lots of excitement. I love music too. And I find that like Mila and Ren end up picking up words to songs like this. And I figured that this might be a fun assignment for us all to take on. So we are going to start working on what we call our cell playlist. And what I want you to do is I'm going to have you take each organelle piece, like the nucleus, the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosome, those organelles that we talked about yesterday, the chloroplast, the cell membrane. And I want you to find a song that reminds you of the job of that organelle. All right, so like let's just go through the nucleus. The nucleus job is the like brain of the cell. What could be an example of a song that talks about knowledge or control? Control. What do you think?
Google will be your best friend on this project.
Yes.
So if you just
You
type
can
it
Google
in.
song. Yeah, Control by
Yeah.
Halsey, Sam. Perfect. All right. So all you're going to do is find a song that kind of has a theme to that organelle. This is required, and this is the only required project I think of the entire year. Okay, and I'm going to give you time. You have all Unit 3 to work on it. Okay? Yeah, what about a song that has for the mitochondria that might have to do with energy or power? Right?
Would it have to be a science
Good,
song?
Draven. Nope. These songs won't be science songs. This is not a science playlist. Like, these are things that you listen to on songs that you listen to on the radio, that you might play through on your Spotify or your Apple Music. Right? This would be a
Okay.
good fight song. Yes.
Like
Ooh, I like it,
Key
Sam.
Perry
Breakfast
firework.
Fight Up. Yep. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Like Key Perry firework.
Yeah,
It's
what
a
could
fight
you use
song.
that one for?
For the Cell playlist thing.
Good, yeah.
Like, I for instance played it before, or watched it before, but I could perhaps be able to use it.
Absolutely, you could.
But I need to
Absolutely.
find the right one.
Right. Yeah. And so then what you're going to do, Jonathan, and says, listen, maybe play the song
Right.
while you're looking through, okay, the nucleus is the control center, the mitochondria is the power plant,
All right.
the Golgi body is the packaging place. So, like, looking through the jobs and listening to the themes of songs and trying to find one that matches. Listen, you cannot get this wrong. You can't get it wrong. All I need you to do is explain to me why you chose that song. All right, that's all. I need to see the parallel. So you're going to say what the song title is,
Right.
what organelle you put paired with it, and then 1 to 2 sentences about why you chose it. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay. Well, for instance, I could probably say it. The fireworks are, for instance, have organelles.
Yeah.
Well, but they are non-living.
Okay. Well, let's process through that and think on that, and we'll help you with that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the fight song by Rachel Platt. And Jenna, if you don't know songs, what Miss Schaefer said is 100% right. Literally, you could Google songs about control, songs about energy. Does that make sense? Some of you are going to love this, and some of you are going to be like, nah, I know Jenna wants it to be optional. I promise you, it's not as bad. It's not as intimidating as you think. And I'll help you. Okay? I promise I'll help you. We may even spend some time next week together in class, sharing what we found, right? And I don't care if you use some of their examples. I don't even care. Actually, I'm going to go out and say this. I don't care if you work in pairs. Maybe we'll spend some time next week and get some breakout rooms open. We all love you, Jenna. And some of you that are less excited about this, I'll find somebody who's like putting names in there right now and be like, listen, I need you. Okay? I think that would be great. I would say if you want to do this with a partner, let's do it. Okay? It can be fun. Now, last year, they did like pictures to go with it, like album titles and stuff. It's not due till the end of the unit, okay? You've got plenty of time. You have like a whole month.
So where is the assignment?
So we'll go through that on Monday. I'll show you where it is. It's actually Dropbox. You can use Microsoft Word, a Word document. You can use PowerPoint. Okay, I can even do a class kick for you. How many of you like class kick and are familiar with class kick? Let's do a quick poll. Let me do a poll.
I don't mind doing the sharing of a project. I just need a partner.
Okay, well, let's do that on Monday.
The old polling's still up, so maybe that's why.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I still see the faces from the last one.
It's missing on my slot. I can't see it.
Weird.
It's gone for me. Strange.
Also, a few kids were asking, does it have to be school appropriate? Are they allowed to have some profanity?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard to dodge it. That sounds terrible.
I know it is.
But like, can we make them appropriate enough? because we may actually listen to some of these songs in class. So I also know you can look up edited versions to songs, right? So if
Yeah,
we
clean-
share it, let's.
Clean version.
So
Yeah.
can it just dotting be shown of the words so I could see it? I just want to see it before I leave for my other class.
What are you wanting to see?
The project thing. It could be open early. I may be able to do it, but I may need some time.
Well, yes, you're going to absolutely have time. You're going to have a couple weeks to do this project. So don't stress about that. We aren't opening the document today in class, Jonathan, if that's what you're asking, like for a specific.
I could probably do it Friday, but I know I don't have school Friday, but I think we can be able to need that time to speculate.
Okay. There is a Word document in your class if you go into the cell organelle assignment.
All right, cell organelle assignment. Year 3.
Okay, there is a Dropbox in there that you do not have to use a Microsoft Word format. All right, but you can. Inside there is a Microsoft Word thing that shows you that what I need you to fill out. That it needs to say the name of your album. So give your album a name, like your playlist a name. And then there'll be seven organelles in the titles, the artist, and then a brief description as to why you chose that song. Okay.
All right. Okay. I could be able to do it a partner if he wants to do it.
Screen share
or
this.
she.
Sure. And that's what we will attack on Monday, Jonathan, is we will go and see who wants to do a partner.
I do want a partner. Sometimes we may need a partner.
Absolutely. So this is what the minimal thing I'd like you to do is putting the cell organelle, the song title, who wrote the song, like Katy Perry, Firework, and then why you chose Firework to associate with that cell. Okay? It doesn't have to look like this, though. I would love it to be super creative. I'd love there to be pictures.
All right.
But it doesn't have to be. So if you're the one that's like, oh, I don't want to do this, find a passionate partner that you can work with, or just know that I minimally need you to make these connections on a chart like this. Okay.
All right. Okay, so wait, I can be your partner.
Okay. That's super sweet. All right, so we will come back to this on Monday. I just wanted to introduce it to you guys today, get you guys hyped about it. Maybe some of you want to start it.
All right.
All right. It is late. I know it's late. You have another class, and I want to be respectful of that.
All right.
So Sully, Jonathan, you can know that Sully said she'd be your partner, and we'll work on that on Monday.
All right.
Don't stress.
There's a lot of time we could do this project, Sully.
Yeah.
Like a session, like earnestly.
And maybe we'll spend some of our class sessions too, so that you guys can work together in class. Okay.
And like we could do a Zoom meeting, but we have to allow it, though.
Sure, I'll work with you and make sure we have some available time and resources. But everybody has to go. So I'm going to end class because it's late. Have a fantastic day. I will see you Monday for sure. All right. There are help sessions throughout the rest of the week if you need us. Otherwise, keep doing your assignments. Start those cell projects if you'd like to dive into it. And I will see you Monday.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Hurry, run off to your next class.